Hollywood without Bruce Willis is almost impossible to imagine. For decades, his presence shaped the very essence of blockbuster cinema. He was not just another action star, he redefined what a hero could be. Tough and courageous, yes, but also deeply human, worn, sarcastic, and vulnerable. Audiences didn't just watch him face danger, they witnessed his endurance, his quiet struggles, and moments of reflection that made him relatable. That combination of strength and authenticity changed the way we understood cinematic heroes. He reminded us that resilience was not about perfection, but about showing up despite doubt and fear. Over time, this presence became foundational to Hollywood itself. Yet while fans celebrated the iconic roles, subtle changes were unfolding in his life. Shifts that went largely unnoticed, but quietly shaped his days, and those of the people who loved him most. Quiet shifts behind the scenes. Before the world knew anything, Bruce began to retreat from the public eye in gentle, almost imperceptible ways. Film sets became quieter around him. Dialogues were trimmed and scenes adjusted. These changes did not spark gossip, but a sense of care. Those working closest to him adapted instinctively, offering patience rather than probing questions. It was not fatigue alone. There was a deeper rhythm at play, a quiet recalibration. For years, Bruce had given everything to his craft, and now his colleagues returned the favor, offering space and understanding. It was a period of silent observation, a chance for people to respect his pace. No confrontation arose, no drama unfolded, just a shared sense of thoughtfulness, a quiet acknowledgement that something in his life and work was evolving in ways only those closest could sense. Small moments that spoke volumes. The first signs were subtle, almost easy to dismiss. A missed cue, a brief hesitation, words that seemed to escape him just as they were forming. Directors began breaking scenes into smaller segments, offering longer pauses between takes. At home, conversations shifted gently, sometimes stalling mid-story, repeating familiar moments. These changes weren't alarming but meaningful, carrying emotional weight for those who knew him best. His family noticed, adjusting without judgment or alarm, responding with love rather than urgency. The humor, once quick and effortless, lingered in softer ways, still lighting the room. Life continued, but with a slower rhythm, a newfound patience. Those who loved him didn't rush to conclusions. They simply made space to accompany him. Understanding, in this context, became an act of devotion rather than speculation. Family love in action. Within the quiet of home, Bruce's family responded with closeness, prioritizing presence over questions. Conversations were slowed, pauses allowed, and stories repeated without frustration. Emma Hemming Willis later described moments when Bruce would search for words he once summoned easily, hesitations that felt both challenging and intimate. Humor remained, though gentler, flickering like a familiar echo. Rather than correcting or prompting him, his loved ones created an atmosphere of reassurance through tone and attention. Care became an unspoken language, a quiet rhythm of shared understanding. In these moments, the family discovered that intimacy could grow through patience. What might have seemed like frustration or struggle to an outsider was, in fact, a pathway to connection, highlighting the ways love adapts when life takes unexpected turns. Strength in daily life. Behind the public statement, the family maintained a consistent, thoughtful approach at home. Daily life became guided by shared understanding and mutual support, with conversations centered on care strategies and emotional well-being. Each family member contributed to creating an environment that prioritized calm, patience, and respect. Fear was acknowledged without isolating anyone, and each day offered an opportunity to reinforce connection through presence. This approach was not performative, it was lived practice. By valuing small moments and intentional routines, the family cultivated strength rooted in togetherness rather than individual endurance, highlighting the quiet, sustaining power of love in everyday life. Emma Hemming Willis, as advocate. Over time, Emma naturally emerged as a calm, grounded public voice for the family. She spoke about Bruce's condition with clarity and compassion, balancing transparency with protection. Her advocacy transformed personal experience into guidance for other families navigating similar journeys. She did not dramatize or sensationalize, instead offering honesty, warmth, and practical insight. Emma's presence became a bridge between the private world of caregiving and public awareness, showing that advocacy can coexist with respect for dignity. Her role demonstrated how love can inspire meaningful action, translating personal experience into shared understanding while ensuring the focus remains on support, empathy, and human connection, rather than sensational narrative. Understanding as both blessing and responsibility. Emma described learning the diagnosis as both a relief and a responsibility. Understanding the nature of frontotemporal dementia offered clarity, but also a weight to navigate an uncertain future. She learned to communicate thoughtfully, preserving dignity while addressing reality. Advocacy became a conscious role, chosen not for recognition, but for necessity. Sharing their story helped families around the world feel less isolated, offering language for experiences that were often difficult to express. By approaching public discussion with care, Emma turned personal insight into communal support, showing that honesty can foster connection and that understanding, when shared with compassion, becomes a source of empowerment rather than fear. Redefining strength. At home, Emma's strength was quiet and deliberate. She coordinated routines, medical guidance, and emotional support, emphasizing patience and flexibility. Yet she never claimed invulnerability, openly acknowledging the support she received from friends, family, and community. Her approach highlighted a critical truth. Strength does not mean doing everything alone. It is the capacity to act with care, to prioritize well-being over perfection, and to embrace vulnerability as part of love. Through this perspective, caregiving is not only about managing challenges, but about fostering meaningful, intentional presence. Emma's example shows that strength is measured not in solitary achievement, but in sustained compassion and the ability to nurture connection in uncertain circumstances. A new lens on Bruce's career. Bruce Willis's cinematic legacy took on new resonance in light of his diagnosis. Fans revisited his films, noticing moments of vulnerability beneath the toughness. The heroism of his characters became less about invincibility and more about emotional resilience. Scenes once viewed as action spectacle now revealed subtle endurance, reflection, and quiet persistence. This reframing allowed audiences to see the authentic human qualities that made him so beloved, reinforcing that courage is not defined by perfection, but by the willingness to face challenges head-on. Bruce's work became a testament to the power of relatability and emotional honesty in storytelling, connecting viewers to the hero not as an untouchable figure, but as someone enduring, navigating, and ultimately human. Celebrating authenticity. Critics and fans alike began to appreciate Bruce's authenticity in a new way. Moments of reflection, subtle hesitation, and quiet determination took on renewed meaning. His power as an actor came not from being untouchable, but from being real. The connection between his on-screen presence and his personal journey became clear, revealing a rare and enduring truth. Courage is found in showing up fully, even in uncertainty. Bruce's legacy demonstrates that the greatest impact often comes from authenticity, from embracing vulnerability alongside strength, and from reminding audiences that heroism includes endurance, empathy, and the ability to keep moving forward despite challenges. The importance of their words. By speaking openly, the family provided a model for awareness and understanding. Their honesty illuminated frontotemporal dementia, fostering conversation and reducing stigma. Medical professionals emphasize the value of clarity, noting that awareness can lead to earlier support and understanding. Families facing similar challenges found validation and encouragement in the Willis family's openness. The message extended beyond celebrity, offering practical guidance and emotional reassurance to those navigating cognitive conditions in their own lives. By naming the diagnosis and framing it with care, the family empowered others to speak openly, replace fear with understanding, and approach caregiving with compassion, patience, and presence, transforming pain into connection. Through their transparency, the family showed how difficulty can become an opportunity for connection. Sharing their story replaced rumor with truth, helping others reframe experiences with dignity rather than despair. Families around the world found hope and language for their own struggles in the Willis family's narrative. The approach emphasized responsible storytelling, thoughtful, empathetic, and grounded in love rather than sensationalism. By modeling openness paired with care, they demonstrated that challenges do not define a life, but the ways in which we respond to them do. Their example highlights that understanding and presence can transform hardship into shared resilience, creating a legacy of empathy and meaningful connection. A legacy rooted in love. Ultimately, Bruce Willis's story is defined not by diagnosis, but by the people who walked beside him, offering care, presence, and unwavering support. His family's choices demonstrated that love can expand and adapt, that patience can foster intimacy, and that dignity can coexist with vulnerability. Bruce's legacy extends beyond cinema, encompassing the human capacity to face change with compassion and grace. The story they share reminds us that what endures is not only fame or acclaim, but the courage to embrace life's challenges together, holding one another when clarity is hard to find. Love, in all its adaptive forms, becomes the truest measure of a meaningful life.